Welcome to a story about two neighbors that share the longest international border in the world, the United States and Canada. Stretching an incredible 5,525 miles from Maine all the way to Alaska, this boundary passes through some of the most pristine wilderness on Earth. 8 of Canada's 13 provinces and 15 of America's 50 states touch this line, and while these countries enjoy a friendly relationship, some still wonder, has the US ever thought about annexing Canada? Canada, often called the land of the maple leaf, is rich in resources and sparsely populated. Covering nearly 3.85 million square miles, it's the second largest country on the planet, second only to Russia. Yet, as of 2023, it's home to just under 40 million people, making it one of the 10 least densely populated nations in the world. This vast, majestic land is not just about size. It's about abundance. Canada boasts over 8,798 lakes larger than 0.0386 square miles, and 563 of them exceed 39 square miles. That's more freshwater than any other nation. Nearly 25% of the world's freshwater supply lies here. But water isn't the only treasure. Canada is also a powerhouse for minerals and energy, particularly oil. With 170 billion barrels of proven oil reserves, 160 billion of which are in oil sands, Canada is a global energy heavyweight. Every day, Canada produces over 563,000 barrels of oil, with more than half coming from oil sands. The US is the primary export market, receiving over 99% of Canadian oil exports. Key sites like the Athabasca, Peace River, and Cold Lake oil sands contain a staggering 1.7 trillion barrels of oil, making Canada the fourth largest holder of proven oil reserves after Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. On top of that, Canada dominates global production of rare metals like cum, critical for modern technology, with 2/3 of the world's supply found in Manitoba. Yet, despite all this wealth, Canada's population remains low, a stark contrast to its resource richness, and it's precisely this abundance that has, at times, made neighboring powers take notice, including the United States. Historically, the US did consider plans to occupy Canada. In the 1930s, as Hitler rose to power in Europe, American leaders feared that Germany or even the UK might use Canada as a base to threaten the US. In 1935, President Franklin D. Roosevelt convened a special National Security Council meeting to discuss a military operation targeting Canada. By 1936, the U.S. Army had drafted Red Plan, a strategy to seize Canadian territory, secure strategic resources like nickel mines in Ontario, and potentially annex the country. The plan included massive naval blockades, 500,000 ground troops, tanks, and air support, but it was shelved once World War II erupted. Later, in 2002, reports revealed that the U.S. even explored rapid military action to secure Canada's freshwater resources during periods of drought. However, negotiations in 2003 led to an agreement for shared water access, and the plan never materialized. So why would the US never invade Canada today? The answer lies in 4 main reasons. First, reputation. Canada is a well-respected, stable country with strong global ties. Attacking it would spark outrage within NATO and the United Nations, risking international isolation for Washington. Any military action could trigger global backlash and even force other powers like Russia or China into North America under the guise of assistance. Second, debt. The US already carries the world's highest national debt, over $33 trillion in 2023. Annexing Canada would dramatically increase financial obligations, from reconstruction to social programs for a growing population. Third, losing a trusted neighbor. Canada and the US are closely intertwined economically and militarily. Trade flows both ways, particularly in automobiles and energy, and cooperation extends to defense through agreements like NORAD. Undermining this relationship would hurt both nations strategically and economically. Fourth, public opinion. Integrating a culturally distinct country is not just expensive, it's politically explosive. Resource exploitation could provoke environmental crises and social unrest, making annexation far more trouble than it's worth. Even with occasional tensions like during the Trump administration's tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, the partnership has remained resilient. Under Biden, relations have stabilized, emphasizing cooperation on trade, defense, and countering global challenges, particularly China. Canada continues to navigate a complex relationship with China, balancing trade ambitions with national security concerns. Meanwhile, the US relies on Canada as a stable ally in North America, proving that partnership and diplomacy win over conquest. In short, while the US has the power to dominate militarily and could theoretically annex Canada, doing so would be risky, costly, and diplomatically catastrophic. Friendship and strategic interests prevail over ambition, ensuring that the world's longest border remains peaceful. Did you find this story about the US and Canada surprising? Hit like if you learned something new, subscribe for more fascinating history and geopolitics, and don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an eye-opening video. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.